Hi, in this video what we're going to cover is overseas sellers selling on Amazon USA. Okay, so that's non-US based people. If you're a US citizen and you're not in the US, then you have a really special tax situation and you need to speak to someone about that, like a professional international tax advisor, because US citizens are taxed worldwide, so it becomes very complicated. So in this particular video, this situation, what we're talking about is someone who's not from America, who's overseas, wants to sell on Amazon.com. How can they do it? And I just want to tell you, it's absolutely you can. It's very easy to set up. It's not much more complicated than if you were based in the US. Sometimes actually it's simpler because some international taxes are a lot less and cheaper than US taxes are. Okay, so company location. If you're in the UK, no problem. If you're in most of Europe, no problem. If you're in Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, you can set up companies in your home country, sell in your local market, but also use that exact same company to sell on Amazon USA. There are some locations which are restricted on Amazon, so you do need to double check if your company in your home country can sell on Amazon America. But you know, most major countries where Amazon has a presence already, right? So if they're in Europe, you can sell. They're in Japan, you can sell. But if you're from somewhere like Iran, Iraq, certain South American countries, there may be restrictions as to whether you can set up a company in those markets. You may have to set up a company overseas to your home country in order to use Amazon USA. So you then have a choice of setting up a US LLC to do everything, which you can from overseas too. So you're not stopped from selling on Amazon USA if you are a foreign seller. It doesn't really matter where you're from. You can still find a way to do it. Okay, so company locations, okay. Company name, you can keep your existing company, keep your existing name if you're a UK or European seller, or most other countries seller if you're based in Australia. So that doesn't change for you. So what you want to do is find out the local process to set up a company in your country, and then you can use that for your local Amazon market as well as Amazon USA. Getting paid. Okay, so if you set up a company in the UK, for example, and you are selling on Amazon UK and you now want to expand to Amazon America, you set up your seller account in Amazon America, there are services that provide a local bank account to receive the payments from Amazon too. So you can either use something like Payoneer, and Payoneer will basically give you an American bank account, a European bank account, several countries' bank accounts once you set up with them. Amazon pays to that, and then that transfers to you. There are fees involved, and those fees change, so you do need to double check. That's one way. Another is Amazon paying directly to your company bank account overseas. And again, you need to double check the fees and the currency conversions for that, but it is possible. I personally used a Hong Kong-based company. We used Payoneer to collect the US dollar payments in America from Amazon, and every couple of weeks Amazon would send that into the Payoneer account, just like they do if I was a local US LLC. And then using the Payoneer account, I then transferred that across to my actual business account overseas. So there was a loss for transaction fees to Payoneer, but we didn't lose on the currency exchange. The really important thing here is taxes, understanding taxes. So if you have no office in America, no staff, no employees, in terms of federal and state taxes, you do not owe federal and state taxes in America based on the advice I've received from accountants. So for your specific situation, you do need to check, because if you're a UK company selling in America, most likely your American profits and expenses go into your UK tax return as for your UK business, and everything's as normal, but you do want to just double check with your local accountant, whoever's doing your accounting and taxing filing, that that's the case. But for us, we didn't have to pay any taxes in America itself. We will cover the topic of sales tax separately in a second, just so that you're aware that is different, because there's several types of tax in America. There's the countrywide federal tax, there's state taxes for a local state, and then there's a sales tax, which is when you sell products online, whether they apply or not. So for the first two types, federal and state, your company is overseas, you're not based in America, so you don't owe them taxes there, which is great. So basically we were selling in America, benefiting from that huge market, and then getting all that money sent to us tax-free back into Hong Kong, where taxes are much, much lower. In America, they can be 20-30%. In Hong Kong, it's 17% or thereabouts, or even less, depending on how you structure things. Okay, so you don't have taxes overseas. You do need to check how those taxes are applied in your home country where your company is. And the final thing that we're going to cover is sales taxes. So we have a separate video on this because it's quite complicated. But basically, if you have sales tax over a certain threshold in a state, you're probably better off registering and paying that sales tax if it crosses a $500 or $1,000 threshold of what you owe for sales tax. And we cover this in much more detail in the sales tax video, so I encourage you to go over, watch that video, and you'll understand more. But I also want to say that a lot of overseas sellers just ignore the sales tax altogether. They think that Amazon's not going to come after them, that the IRS is not going to come after them overseas, because IRS hasn't even gone after sellers in America yet for all of the sales tax, let alone overseas. And it's actually not the IRS that would do it, it's state by state, right? So if California thinks you owe them $300 of sales tax, they're going to come after you for that $300. Many overseas sellers think that they'll never do that because it's too much trouble to try to get those overseas sellers. I'm not telling you to not pay it, but that's the liability that many business owners accept, and then they're like, okay, well, I'm not going to pay it, and just let's see if they come after us. But if you do owe them the money and they do come after you for 5 years worth of back sales taxes, then you may need to pony up all of that cash to continue selling. Who knows how the laws will change and evolve? It's something to keep an eye on. But if you watch our sales tax video, we've got the best kind of optimal solution of balancing paperwork, paying, and saving money. And I strongly encourage you to follow the process that we recommend there. But absolutely, overseas sellers can sell in Amazon USA. Most likely you can use a company in your home country, so that makes taxes, everything easier. You can use local advice for taxes. Everything is much, much simpler that way. You don't need a US company to sell in Amazon USA. You can avoid that altogether. Thank you.